Welcome back to TrippTalk Tech. We got a good show for you today. We got a Baltimore native in the house, 13-year vet in the real estate game, property manager extraordinaire, host of Tiara on Topwater. On the
Around Tower.
Topwater, I apologize. Welcome, my guest today, Tierra Walker-Holloway. How you doing today, man?
Hey, Trip Talk Tech.
How you been? I ain't seen you since middle school,
Right,
elementary school.
right. Years.
How's life in VA?
You know what? I really love Virginia. I've been here since '98,
Hmm.
and I chose to live here. Like I chose to make my adult life here, and it's been great. It's been great. The
Right.
proximity to the beach. The proximity to the beach.
So you in that Tide Water area, like
Ye- Yes, I'm like I live in Virginia Beach.
oh, see, you snotting. You can't come from Baltimore and then say, "Hey, I live in Virginia Beach." It's
I
like that's all right.
I
I live in Virginia Beach.
for
So do
real.
you living in Virginia Beach? Since that sounds so exotic, like I mean, do you miss anything from back home?
Huh?
Miss anything from back home?
Oh no, wait a minute. Listen,
Ah,
I miss the people. I miss the people. One thing I will say about Baltimore that still rings true to today is that Baltimore is the type of place that where everyone speaks to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like could be from the window washers to just anywhere you're passing. You always feel a sense of kindness and community.
mhm.
Not to say that that doesn't exist here, but I say definitely that's one of the things. And then the food. I mean, it's like, come on, you already know. Like every time I come home, I gotta hit one of the spots. I be trying so hard to catch mics. Wow. Even thinking about it right now, my mouth just kind of got a little bit, just a little bit.
Tad bit.
I busted you on North Avenue so quick. So yes, for sure. The
It's
food.
home. So when I reached out to you, I thought of you because a lot of my friends they dibbling and dabbling in real estate. They're trying to figure out with the market now and COVID. Is it a good time to jump in? Is it time to get out? I know a lot of them doing projects. Some getting held up maybe because of materials on the flip, fix and flips, and just again, I wanted to bring somebody in. I know you're in Virginia, but also I'm sure the real estate game, I mean, on the East Coast is probably similar, probably not the exact same.
All
But
right.
just again, just wanted to catch up with a long time old friend that, again, just a vet in the game and just trying to figure out what's the real going on out here in this economy.
You know what? I would say this is
Hmm.
that it's always about the first one. So it's just like anything new you start. And if it was a good market or a bad market, it's getting over the fear of doing the first one because you're never going to know until you jump in.
Hmm.
Meaning that you've just got to accurately prepare yourself and have a plan, like a plan to the end, an exit plan. So you need to know from the beginning, are you trying to make this a buy and hold? Are you trying to make this a flip? What is the value proposition to the community, as it pertains to Baltimore? Because as we had mentioned before we started, I come up there quite a bit, and
Hmm.
it's almost like wherever you're intending to purchase and renovate and resell, what's the value to the community? Are you creating the best house on a downtrodden block? Are you intending to, restore that block? Are you only in the county and it's going to be a higher, get in value? So
Hmm.
it's all just about how much you have to spend and leveraging your repairs. And then more importantly, and this is the biggest challenge for any investor,
Hmm.
is your team of contractors. I mean, that's the
You never
biggest
lying about that.
the biggest loss to be taken is going to be in that material estimate versus
Hmm.
versus the work estimate versus the timeline. Because what a lot of people, especially our community, beginning investors, don't a lot of times realize is the the costs that are associated with maintaining the investment throughout the time of the flip. Your care it's called carrying costs.
And people don't get that because, again, to your point, I think one time, a couple times I've got in, you got to pay the insurance on the house while the house sit there and you're getting it built. You got to pay
Exactly.
whatever permits and all of that stuff going on.
Exactly. And if you're doing like a hard money, you still got to pay that mortgage payment. You
That is
gotta,
right.
you got to pay that mortgage payment. You got to pay now. Oh, city permits.
Hmm.
City permits.
Yep.
The contractors are not going to pay for that. So even if like they can pull the permit, right? But
Hmm.
you the one got to put out the money for the permit because
Hmm.
that's to them a lot of times like your skin in the game. It's like they done did the estimate. You got to give them the upfront deposit for materials or whatever, but they
Hmm.
want that city permit payment in that initial fee. You know what I'm saying? And then your timeline because if you only have, let's say for example, let's
Hmm.
say you got 70 grand and
6 month hard money loan.
you got right, you got a 6 month hard money loan. You only had to put, let's just make it easy numbers. Let's just not because we know this may not be real, but let's say
Yeah.
you only had to put 15 down. You know,
Hmm.
15 down up front, and then you still have your carrying costs, which could run you, 2 to 7 thousand a month, and then your repair where you have to put the money out and then get it back, put the money out and then get it back, and people don't understand that. So that 70,000 has got to carry you all the way to the completion of project. And go ahead.
With that point though, you just made, like you said, all right, I got the 70 from the hard money lender. I got the house. I'm probably strapped at this point. And to your point, it's another little probably residual that investor need to kind of have on the side to maybe even start that first draw or to get going in the project before you
And
even get that payout.
right, and that's what I was saying is that you got to have that money to put out up front. You have to have, and normally what I always advise beginning investors, and we're talking about properties that initial purchase price is under 100,000, right? Is
Hmm.
that you're going to need 10,000 on hand. And the reason being is because you want to be able to cover the first 10,000. It'll move your project faster. If
Yep.
your total all in repair cost is 40,000, if you can take and flip your 10,000 four times, as opposed to flipping 2,500 80 times, it'll make your project move smoother and it'll also keep your contractors engaged.
Yep.
When they know that their money is going to be cut on time, no hesitation,
They
they
run right to the next project.
they do right to the next project. And that's why a lot of times, because see, the thing about contractors get a real bad rap,
Hmm.
the way that they may manage how they do their business. But at the end of the day, that's not your business. All you got to do is make sure you keep them engaged, pay them as they want, and trust that their work and know that their work is the quality you're looking for. You know what I'm saying?
I feel
But
it.
but it's hard to find those people, and once you do, you want to treat them right. You want to leverage it, leverage
Hmm.
it with cash and your word.
so so coming to say Virginia, if somebody's looking to invest, say with you, do you have those teams kind of already tucked, kind of waiting for them? Like, hey, I can definitely refer you to some good people.
Actually, I do. My team is Flawless Real Estate Team, and
Okay.
the way that is marketed or branded is that my team is not just you, the client, but it's primarily you, the client, right? So you
Yeah.
and I together become a team, and then because I am a property manager, I do have a team. I have a cleaning lady I've been working with for 3-4 years.
Okay.
I have a contractor, Class A contractor, with over 13 employees that I've been working with for about almost 5 years now.
Okay.
I have relationships with just about in, like at least a minimum of 10 contracting different companies in all areas from window installation, roof repair, crawl space.
Okay.
You have to provide value. So
Hmm.
with me being a property manager, which I love, you figure that your owners want to know that they're safe in your hands. And if they don't have a home warranty, You've
Hmm.
got to be able to have those resources because you don't know when
The next
problems
thing
will,
happens.
yeah, when problems will arise. You know what I'm saying? When problems will arise. So yeah, I do have those contractors. And then another thing is that normally with my investors, especially beginning investors, my contractor is willing to come out with us on at least 1 to 2 showings, where they can actually take a look with a real licensed contractor.
That's a good point you make, and I want people to really to kind of to heed that point. Like you said, if you are planning on investing, maybe you take your team with you, take them out so they can tell you. Don't you walk through the house and say, "This 60 grand worth of fix up," because somebody else tell you that, and you got 110 grand bill when the
Right.
real
And
guys
that's
show up.
right. And that's the thing. And that's the thing. I will tell you that it's worth the cost. Like meaning that, you'll pay a bigger company to
Mhm,
come out and give you an estimate,
mhm.
right? Like you need your washer dryer repaired, you need your roof repaired. You'll pay that company because when you get the work, that estimate amount is deducted from the total cost.
Yep.
Same thing with my contractor. So you
Mhm.
figure that it'll be either the actual lead contractor or one of the team members, and they'll come out on the showing for a small fee,
Oh,
right?
cool.
And go through several properties with you so that then even if the next time you go out, you say, okay, based on what they said, we can see on these is this. You've
Hmm.
invested wisely because you created a relationship with a contractor for yourself, and you know now what you're looking for. Because
And
go ahead.
I'm so not to cut you up, but another good point you made, I don't want it to get lost, is again, as far as paying that investment, it's an investment up front. That's not a you're giving somebody $100 or $200 to come look at a house.
Right,
If you use this guy, that comes off. But again, that's an investment because you want to know
right,
what this total investment looks like if I'm going to get, we talking profits maybe in the 20, 30,000 range, so
correct.
you got to plan this.
Right, and that's the thing is that everything is about mindset. And what I will see is what I can see in our community that's happened. Thank goodness for technology, is
Hmm.
that now we have so much more access to information. It's
Yeah.
expanding our consciousness to a level where we're beginning to see that things that maybe during our upbringing that might have been associated with being or seeming better than are
Hmm.
actually the better choice in how you handle your business.
Yeah.
Like meaning that if you intend to sustain, then doing things right from the start is what allows you to build a foundation. Um,
Definitely.
and that's the difference. Is like, once spending a small amount extra, in your investment to guarantee or at least be solidly sure of what you're, because once you make an offer, right, especially on these as is properties, okay, and
Hmm.
we're talking about like in Baltimore City, a lot of those properties are going to be, family owned or city owned, right? So when you're
Hmm.
making that offer to then have to turn around and get a home inspection, to make sure of all services and circuits and everything, depending on the property itself,
Hmm.
all of that stuff prepares you solidly for what you need to do, and it's going to help in getting the money. You need the money, the money to fix it up if you don't have full cash yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Got it. Now, what are your viewpoints on that? Because some realtors, some people, say, hey, don't ever use your own cash, get credit. Some people say, well, use a little bit of credit and use some of your own cash, so you're totally not underwater with somebody. How do you feel? What's your philosophy on that financially?
I think that as much as you can leverage your business credit, you should. I think you should.
Gotcha.
I think that
And real quick, you said business credit, so having an LLC that you're buying these houses or something through.
oh yeah, oh yeah, for
Okay.
sure, for sure. You should definitely. I would always suggest that if you're going to become an investor, you protect your personal assets by putting it in the LLC. And another thing is that you want to be taken seriously. You
Yep.
know, you want to be taken seriously, and you can disassociate it from your direct family. It takes a simple amount of getting your LLC, and getting someone to help you establish some business credit. Because what I realize now, and this is all, in learning, is that business credit is amazing. and if you establish that business credit, you can do everything through your business credit. You build your personal credit, protect it, and use your business credit to make your life work, make your life move. Yeah, I would definitely say if you can borrow money, do. you know um and if you can't, to start, that's okay too. Because if you can get a property for 50, I know somebody in Baltimore that bought a property for $11,000
Okay.
and put $16,000 into it, and they have renters in there. They did it as a buy and hold, right?
Hmm.
26,000 now, making $1,100 a month, right? I mean,
Residual.
right. I mean, if you have, $30,000, $40,000, that's kind of like a no brainer. You know, the only difference is that by holding a mortgage, there's a tax benefit.
Hmm.
So it's all about how you deal with your accounting. Your personal accounting. When you have a mortgage on a property, it gives you a tax benefit. So
Hmm.
but if you own the property outright, that's just cash in pocket. Get your investment back quicker. Overall. So it's just about your own personal money strategy.
Got it. So now, when we first, before we got to going live, we were just talking, and we kind of got right into it. 'Cause again, you're a wealth of knowledge, and I can see this is your passion. But if we step back a little bit, again, like I said, we went to school together. We come out of Baltimore. We're products in Baltimore City school system.
Yes.
Like I said, I think that was a project that I think for a lot of us we beat, and the project failed miserably. We beat the odds, but again, how did you get to Virginia? How did you get to selling real estate? Like how did you get there? Like now, one thing I gotta tell y'all, me and Tiara was a part of the GATE program, so Tiara is very great with the numbers. Math mathematician type. So again, I get the money side of real estate, but I'm just trying to figure out. I thought she'd be some type of rocket scientist or something. You
Man,
know.
you know because that was never like, I have ended up being way more creative than anything. I will tell you that I left Baltimore my 11th grade year
Mhm.
with my family, my dad, and we went to Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, and tragically my father, he passed my senior year high school.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. He passed my senior year of high school. I mean, we literally had just moved there, so we'd been there for 1 year,
Mm.
and I actually had a scholarship, and so in Baltimore things had our upbringing up there was kind of sketchy.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I had switched schools a couple times and everything, and I had actually failed. So I went to Western, and I got put out of Western for being missing school. So I wasn't
Okay.
failing, missing school because of life circumstance. Okay, they sent
Hmm.
me they sent me to Southwestern, so I'm back in the 10th grade. Okay, I leave Baltimore mid-year, go to Ohio. Their passing grade was a 60.
Hmm.
Now, this is why, and I'm bringing this up on purpose. So I get up there, and they say I got up there. I promise you, it was November of
Okay.
the what would have been our 11th grade year,
Hmm.
and they say if you can pass the exams for the 11th grade this quarter in this test, like a CAT test or whatever, they say we'll put you in the 11th grade in January. Come on,
And you specialize. We probably was the kings of multiple choice and weird tests.
I'm talking about. So obviously, I graduated on time. You know what I'm saying? Graduated on time. So so I finished school there, and I had a scholarship and all this kind of stuff. But my dad had passed, and the military came around, and it was just kind of a time where um, I was really looking to look out for my younger brother, and I just didn't want him to have to experience some of the things that I had experienced. And not only that, but we were away from Baltimore City So we're
Okay.
in Cincinnati now, totally different world. And I didn't want that for him. So when the military came saying, you could do this and do that, I said, okay, I'll go there. So I went to the military and right out of high school, like literally like 5 days after high school, I left for
Wow.
camp. Yeah, it was crazy. It left 5 days after that. And that circumstance, the military was okay, but it didn't turn out well for me. Um, However, I honored the military and I'm still a veteran, but it did not turn out well for me. So I got out really fast. It was almost like I was in boot camp, like thinking about a different world, just like why am I in the military? So I got out of the military, and I will tell you this is why people always wonder why I stayed in Virginia. I'm gonna tell
Okay.
you. So I get out of the military. It was a day before my birthday in April, and I go home and I
Hmm.
see my friends, and a lot of my friends in Baltimore at that point were all at least a year or two older than me. So they were like, like 19, 20, 21, stuff like that. No, because I was turning 20. So they were like maybe 22. And they had these jobs, like hard jobs. They were like working shifts. Like it was no partying. They was like, I can't go with you tomorrow because I gotta work. And I'm like, you gotta work, what you talking what you talking about? You gotta work on a Saturday? I'm like, what are you talking about? And so, and in my young mind, I'm like, okay, in Virginia, I'm like,
Hmm.
I could just be smart. You know what I'm saying? It just like I
And
could
get
just
over.
I was like, I could just chill down there. Like it's like and plus it was just, the beach, it was like every time I crossed the Hampton Roads, every time I crossed the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, it was like for real. I felt like I was coming home. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Just every time I came across that tunnel to come onto the south side of Hampton Roads, I always just felt like I was coming home. And so I went home that weekend. Nobody couldn't party. You know what I'm saying? And I came back down here and like I enrolled at Norfolk State University. So,
Oh, okay. Okay.
so yep. So I went to Norfolk State and I went there for about. I actually to this day have 3 semesters to complete. And I worked at their radio station, because I was a journalist in the Navy. So I got my associates in journalism there. And then I was in the Navy. And then when I was at Norfolk State, yeah, I did radio for a long time. And that's what kept me kind of in the public eye, always wanting to do talk shows or blogs or things like that. You know what I'm saying? Is that
I
because
got you.
I do voiceovers now. So I've been doing
Oh,
voiceovers. Yeah, I've been doing voiceovers for about, I don't know, 18 years. I do voiceovers though. Mhm.
speaking of voiceovers, you also have the Tiara around Topwater. What's that about?
Oh yeah. So I recently started what I'm calling a blogcast. Because like I was saying, I've been in journalism. I do a lot of writing for people and business plans, just all kind of stuff. I really enjoy writing and really enjoy speaking. So you figure that I started Tierra around Topwater to provide some more value
Mhm.
to both my friends and colleagues because I took kind of a survey during this pandemic and I realized that about 92% of my friends, like my actual friends, people I speak to, are business owners. And that's, just nationwide, but mostly here in Virginia. And so each of those businesses, whether they're virtual or in a brick and mortar, they're in a community. So what I
Gotcha.
do is I go and interview and highlight their business and then also highlight the real estate that's located in that area, whether or not it's residential, commercial, what's coming, what's sold,
Okay.
and kind of highlight where their businesses are located. So that's the blog piece of it. And
Mhm.
then the cast piece is that I have episodes on my Facebook Live and my YouTube and website where I meet with people, and right now I'm in a wealth building series. So
Okay.
basically Tierra around Topwater is just me highlighting different great things about Hampton Roads area.
Okay.
And the reason they call this the Topwater community is because if you're ever here, it floods. So before it was called Hampton Roads, it was called just Tidewater. And so you figure that, there's lots of places here that flood. So so you figure
See,
that.
my only knowledge of the area is, my son with basketball. So like, Mike Vick,
Oh
Allen Iverson, yeah, that's like God country for them, right?
yeah, see, but that's the thing is that they're from the peninsula side. So you figure that they don't get me wrong, they represent the entire area, and it's easy to I've run into those guys. This
Just on
it's
the off.
easy. I mean, all it's so much talent from Virginia. Like
Hey,
that's
Iron Flex, y'all just got
I'm
the whole
right, and
mob
you
from
and
down
it's
there.
easy to like you run into many celebrities here. You know what I'm saying? It's just the type of place that's just so laid back because we have the military. We have the military. We have a super large medical industry here and hospital industry.
Gotcha.
I mean, it really is a great place to live.
So getting back to technology, so I can get you out of here. As far as just your clients now that you're working with, like closing and things like that, are you seeing that being more virtual now? Is it with softwares out there, if you can share that you're using in that game?
What I yeah with closings, especially during the height of the pandemic,
Hmm.
closings were virtual. And the client would go in with the attorney, but then you would have to be virtual, or either they would be in two separate rooms with the camera thing. So
Hmm.
I've seen that happen a lot, but I really prefer to attend closing. So even though it's virtual, I'll like sit outside
I
and
got
like wait. Like the personal touch is like important to me when it comes to this business. But I've definitely done some buyer and seller consults by Zoom.
you.
With the seller consult, it still ends up being just a consult because you've got to get in the house anyway. But with the buyer consult, that's been very effective on Zoom. And also in my properties that I lease or properties that I sell, I've always done virtual walkthroughs. So I do a lot of transitioning clients.
Hmm.
About maybe 80% of my property owners are all over the world. So I don't. They're mostly
Wow.
not local. A lot of them are military. So when we first meet, a lot of majority of my business comes from referral. So
Okay.
we'll meet on Zoom. Some of them I've never met face to face. We
Hmm.
do everything, repairs, everything virtually. So, I mean, just everything. I'll take them and walk them through the property. And then that's another thing. Oh, speaking of this,
Yeah.
here's the biggest tip that I can suggest in speaking about this. We talk about the investing, right?
Yeah.
With your contractors, with the people that you hire, they should always be sending you pictures. So the reality is that they can be the bomb. Like meaning, like I know sometimes we'll know Mr. Earl, and he's been doing repairs for 1,000 years, and he don't use phones like that. Okay,
Hmm.
Mr. Earl needs more management than what you can leverage for scalable. You've got to be able to work with people that can use modern technology to make your life easier. You should be able to send your contractor out. They should be able to send you a picture of it when it's broken and a picture of it when it's fixed. And that allows you to keep all your records digitally. And like I tell all my investors, the simplest thing is to just set up a folder in your email and a folder on your desktop.
Yep.
And now every investment, you just name it by property, you know,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
you've got photos to substantiate what they said was done. That means you don't have to micromanage so much because you already have people that know your standard is to receive a photo.
That's true.
Okay? Just want
Right.
just want
Just
to throw
throw that out there, huh?
yeah, got to throw that out there for real because it's like with my teams and stuff, the people that I work with, they're all black owned businesses, right?
Hmm.
And as we built rapport, a lot of times in our community, people will challenge, oh well, why does this cost like this? Especially during the pandemic, with all material prices having increased 50 to 70%. And I'm pretty sure it's even worse for you guys because even though you're right there off the bay, I'm sure you're not getting as much, you
Shipping.
know, yeah. So you figure that, I'm sure it's even worse for you guys. So it is a higher cost, right now to get things repaired.
Hmm.
However, at this point, my teams that I work with, we've been working together for so long. I don't even challenge it because I already know. that, if this is not what you want to do, I already know you got the best offer, right?
Exactly. You don't have to keep going back and forth.
Right. So it's like, and that's an important piece. But no, back to the technology. So
So go
go ahead.
ahead, you go. Go ahead. So one thing, kind of little outside of technology, but you've been on this path, I say, for a minute.
Mhm.
What keeps you going on the days? Have you? Well, I won't say that. I would say, have you ever had those days where you just wake up and like, what am I doing? Like, I just need to go get something. Go get a nine
Yeah.
to five,
Yeah.
secure me and hold me down, but I'm going crazy here. Like what do you do with those emotions? How do you deal with those emotions to stay back on track?
Um, you know what? Growing up in Baltimore, um, growing up in Baltimore, my life, and now we're in our 40s. We can safely say we made it. You know what I'm saying? Like we made it past many of our friends that didn't.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, and I'm realizing even more so in the energy of the universe right now that my upbringing, that shit was traumatic. You
Yeah.
know, it was traumatic, and
Hold right that point you make about, and I'm not just saying this is just for Baltimore kids, but mental health, like what you saying right there, mental health. We gotta take care of ourselves, man.
right,
Like we our environment screwed us up.
yeah, I mean,
Go, go. You go. I just had to put that out there. People
yeah,
think ain't nothing wrong with you. It's something
right.
wrong with you.
No, it was traumatic. It was traumatic. It was traumatic, and you figure that, and I just first let me say this. The
Mhm.
first thing is I just thank God that I made it to get to an age where you could look back
And see that.
and see that, right? And and what it is that the one thing that I've always been inside myself is a winner. And so at the end of the day, I can never give up on me. So that's the thing. That's what sustains me because
Win,
it's
win.
it's it's just that. It's just knowing that like you're meant to be greater than your circumstance. And that's what Baltimore taught me.
Yeah.
Baltimore taught me that because we had some of the best programs and the gate program sold into us.
Yeah. It is.
It, and on top of that, I just gotta give a special shout out to Miss McLeod, the band at West Baltimore Middle School. Those characteristics that they instilled in us to never give up, to keep trying, no
Mhm.
matter what. That is just in me, and it's like no matter how many times I fall, like we were mentioning, you said we had jumped into it earlier. It's like I feel like that a lot of my choices were made in ignorance, and as a result, they
Mhm.
resulted in failure. Right? No shame in that
No.
because queens are accountable though. So it's
Yeah.
almost like when you're a queen, when you're a king, you can acknowledge, oh, that was a loss, keep moving, you know. And in those things that was established there in Baltimore, it's like, man, it was because it was a crazy situation, but you still had to go. You still had to
Yeah.
face it every day. Every day, no matter what happened the day before, you still had to face it.
Yeah.
So, yep. Hmm.
Yeah. I think you put that well. Like you said, I think what it did was made our skin tough. It made us be able. Baltimore humbles you, but also prepares you in a way that you never scared of anything.
That's right. That's
You,
right.
you, you know what I mean? Like you can bring anything to my front door, and I can look at it dead in its eyes and deal with it. It don't matter what it is. You know what I mean? And I think that's what that tough skin we get. You could be in an executive board meeting. I could be in the boardroom at Microsoft. Same exact swag because again, I've seen worse.
Yeah.
I've been through worse.
Yeah.
I've had worse.
Right. And then another thing is that, and the difference is that it gives you a different discernment in the boardroom
It does.
because there's another level of perspective. I was just talking to somebody about this. Like one of the reasons that at that time in Baltimore, um, 18, 19, I felt like that in Baltimore, I would have had to have a lot of always wondering what the other person was trying to get over, right? Or trying to get. And I wanted a fresh perspective, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it allowed me by leaving that area, it allowed me to get out of that specific mindset. But here's the thing though.
Mm-hmm.
However, when like we were talking about earlier, however, when I talk to so many of our friends from elementary, middle school and stuff, they still made it. You know what I mean? They still made it, and
Definitely.
exceedingly well. Like exceedingly
Yeah.
well. I'm so proud of us.
Yeah. When I look back, like I was saying to you, I think that crew we came up with, just that whole class of people, I just think we're gonna look back and there's gonna be a lot of game changers, a lot of leaders, a lot of people that really, when you look up, they changed the game out here.
Yeah.
So we was a part of something special, right?
And for us to have stayed, we stayed together for 3 years. We stayed
Yeah.
for 3 years. That was 3 years that we tried. When I tell people that, I tell people about that. And it
Hmm.
was crazy. We stayed together for 3 years, like 80 kids.
And just built. We
And
just
just,
built.
I mean, we learned so much.
But yeah, look, before I let you go, I ask all my guests this. Now, you my first female guest, so this might be a
Okay.
little different. But I ask every guest what's your favorite pair of kicks. I got this channel. They know what's up with the tennis shoe game. If you're not a tennis shoe person, you can do shoes. We could
No,
take shoes. You
no.
can.
I got,
I know you from Baltimore, and you understand that whole kicks
yeah.
affiliation. But
Okay. So, no, I wear sneakers. I wear sneakers.
all right,
I do not I do not have like a specific favorite shoe, but I gotta admit, I
uh,
do have a favorite brand.
okay. What's your favorite brand? I'll take that.
Favorite brand is Adidas. I'm not even gonna lie.
Adidas?
I love
Oh,
Adidas.
you hurt my heart. Oh, no,
Adidas.
that's cool.
That cannot. I
You
love
from West
Adidas.
Baltimore. How can it be Adidas? That's the East Side thing. That's them East
I
Side
love
people like
Adidas.
them Adidas.
I love Pumas.
Uh,
Um,
Pumas, that's West, but Adidas, your friends from over East Side, ain't they?
no, you know what? I just something about the Adidas. They just every time it's like I be just finding
No,
the
no
dopest
disrespect to East. I love East. You know what I mean? But I know they the Six
all
Kings.
day. I'm from West all day. I'm just saying I love Adidas. I love Pumas. You know what I'm saying? But I just cannot like I've still let me tell you this. Here go the truth.
Uh,
And you know this because you
uh,
you know me from back then. I
yeah.
still have never had a pair of Jordans. Never.
So, all right, now that's funny because see, you understand because I understand the ground. We ain't had no Jordan
Right.
money. I
Had no
ain't even
Jordans. Right.
having that. But I was telling my guy, I asked him the same question. He was like, "Well, what's yours?" And I was like, "The cement Jordan 4s." And he was
Right.
like, "Why?" I was like, "Cause I couldn't buy them until I got my first dollar."
Right, 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 right. And see, that's what I'm saying is like, but you know what? Let me just tell you this.
Well,
Okay. However, when push come to shove, what I will always buy, no matter where I see them,
Vance,
is a fresh white pair of 5411.
size 70 girls. All
Oh
right,
my
cool.
God, you gotta have some. I love them Reeboks.
All right.
I'm
Uh,
talking every
boy,
couple years. Every
see,
couple.
she an OG. She know the model number. See,
Oh man,
y'all go Google
listen.
that. I'm gonna have them Google that for you.
Oh my God. I'm talking about, listen, the last ones I bought was in Baltimore, in Shoe City. That was like about 3 years ago. I'm talking, it wasn't even that long ago. I buy those. And whenever I crack them out, people be like, ah. So those are the sneakers of my childhood. Them sneakers.
You just put yourself back on the Be More map. See
I'm
that?
telling you, listen, a black pair and a white pair. That's all I ever had. One black pair for winter, white pair for spring.
Stay fresh. All right, Tiara. Hey, look, I want to thank you. I appreciate your time today. Thank you for just dropping those financial gems on us. Appreciate you. I wish you all success with Tierra around Topwater. That's actually coming up soon. I'm gonna flash everything for you. You wanna tell the people how to get in contact with you?
Absolutely. So just you guys, I appreciate you so much, Key, for inviting me. I'm very honored that you even, want to speak to me. It's dope. I am Tierra Walker-Holloway. You can Google that, but it's flawlessliving.pro is my website. I am at Flawless RET, which means real estate team, at Flawless RET on all social networks. Everywhere you can find it. I'm on LinkedIn, everything. And I am with World Class Realty and Property Management is my current brokerage. Amazing company, exceeding your expectations. So, but yeah, you can find me at Flawless RET on all social media or just Tierra Walker Holloway. I'm easily Googleable.
She's Googleable, y'all.
Yes.
Hey, Tiara, thanks again. You enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes,
Thanks for coming
yes.
to All right.
All right, peace.
Peace.